Well, thank you for coming back on my show, Julian. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me once again.
Yes, let's start off with your Netflix. What can you tell everybody about that?
So I recorded three dubbings last year. I think it was around Christmas time.
Mhm.
One was for Lupin, the show. One was for El Elegido, the chosen one, and the other one was for the Manny. And I guess I could tell you a little bit of the process. It's actually way different than like normal auditions or normal jobs, because normal jobs they send you the script and the actual character, like what they're about.
Right.
But yeah, but on these dubbings, you don't get that. They only give it to you once you show up there. So they'll be like, okay, you're playing this guy. He's this, this, and this, and here's your script. And they show you the actual actor acting it out in the other language.
hmm
Yeah,
And
but oh, sorry. Yeah.
how long did it take for you to practice and do the voiceover?
Um, it didn't take me too long. I guess it depended on the session on how many lines there were. But it took me like a couple of minutes to really analyze how the actors portrayed the emotions in another language. So I
hmm
kind of mimic that to keep the same, the same feel that they provided already, but in English.
Right, in English. And how long did it take for you to do this ta taping?
This taping, well, it depended on the job, but I think the longest one was the chosen one. It
hmm
was over a span of a couple of days. I'm not too sure how many. I completely forgot. It was a while back ago. But it took about like an hour or two each day, and I think that was one of the coolest ones too, because I actually got to watch the show like in Spanish as well while they were actually showing it to me. So, and it was pretty interesting too. So that was cool.
And did you get to meet the cast members?
No, sadly no. It was actually a lone booth, and it was just they were just recording me, and I was in the lone booth. And I could hear the other like dubbing cast members like over the thing, but that was from like previous days ago when they pre-recorded it. Sadly, no, I didn't get to meet them.
A
Yeah.
bummer. And everybody can still watch that on Netflix, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And of course you're still doing Darman. Probably not. I could be wrong, but um
Yeah, actually the funny thing is recently they hit me up, to go film over there. Sadly, I had to decline though because I recently became
right,
SAG-AFTRA.
right. That's what
Yeah.
I was trying to remember. Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me. So let's talk about your Murder of Heartland. Let's
Mhm.
talk about that story. Of course, it seems like I could be wrong, a true story, a murder scene. So what can you tell us about your role in that?
All right. So yeah, no, the it was a pretty fun times like when I showed up there, it was a huge set. It was or not a huge set. It was a huge property. It almost looked like a farm, It was pretty cool. And while we were waiting to film, we explored the area, It was huge. They had a bunch of trees, a bunch of land. And we filmed there, and I played the kid of the son of the mom who gets sadly, killed. I played Todd. And the scene where they had me do is, I was coming home from my basketball game. I was wearing a jersey. It was freaking cold outside, and it was nighttime. Yeah, and I come home and I realize what happened, and I'm all like, "No, what happened? What happened?" And I'm trying to get past the police, or not the police, uh, or I think it was. I'm not too sure, but I go there and I come for my sister, my little sister, and I'm kind of just grieving there. And but overall, it was a pretty cool experience, there.
And this is based on a true story.
Yes.
And where was this crime happen and and if you can tell a little detail, what really happened and um
Um, well, I'm not too sure exactly where it happened, but I think from when I watched it, it was something about she got killed by this guy, but
mhm.
I think it was like on the side of a road she got killed or something like that, but I'm not too sure in the entire story. I completely forgot. But yeah, no, it was pretty sad.
And then what made you how did you get that role? Did you audition for it or did someone
Yes,
call you
yeah, I auditioned for it.
someone called you up for that, right?
Hmm.
And now you were, of course, you were in a little caregiver, and you played Jack.
Hmm.
And what can you tell everybody about that role?
Oh, that was awesome. I got to meet lovely cast and crew. And yeah, no, it was an awesome experience. It's I showed up also in a jersey playing basketball too, did those scenes. We had awesome fun at like a mini arcade place. But no, overall it was dope. It was awesome. I really loved it, and cast and crew was awesome. And yeah.
And then of course that was filmed in LA. Was that correct?
Yes.
And then of course it was it where can people watch the Murder in the Heartland and of course the Little Caregiver?
For Murder in the Heartland, it's the ID channel.
Hmm.
And for My Little Caregiver, it's not out yet, like completely. But you guys could check that on my Instagram when it is.
And then of course we're all live, the Scouts Honor. You were season one all the way to season seven. You played Blaine,
Yes, Blaine.
and it looks like that's a Boy Scout TV show. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what's your role as the character Blaine?
So Blaine is a confident he's a leader. He's a really confident dude. He knows when to do like funny lines at the right and wrong time at the same time. But no, when the situation really does need it, he really gets serious. But overall, I think he's a really caring character,
Hmm.
like for those that he cares about. But yeah, no, he's a dope character. Yeah.
Now let's get into details, of course, about your podcast.
Mhm.
Congratulations, your podcast is on Spotify, Apple. Um, and what can you tell everyone about your podcast and what's about and details?
There's gonna be 8 episodes. So far, only six have released, so chapter four right now. Actually the sixth one released last Monday. And it's basically a standalone series from the We're Alive series, and it's about a bunch of scouts, a group of scouts, trying to survive in this island, Catalina, and they're just trying to survive against the dangers that the world put against them, the
Hmm.
infected, and other people as well. And it's also about the bonding and joy of the friendships they make along the way as well.
That's
And
really awesome, and this about friendship and bonding and what was your decision on why to do this podcast?
um First of all, it was a great opportunity for me, and I was blessed to have the opportunity. But second of all, I really love like zombie shoes, not shoes, shows, movies, podcasts, anything like that. Anything like that. And I really like the character as well. I think he resembled a part of me that I tend to only bring out like when I'm like at family gatherings. I tend to
Hmm.
be chatting and try to get to know or to see what everybody's been up to. So I felt a connection.
And then, of course, it's you can still do more podcasts after this is over.
Yes, definitely any opportunity that's thrown at me.
Now, questions for you is a lot of people are wondering, and a lot of actors are probably wondering, what is your advice to give to anybody out there who are struggling with auditions? And, what's your advice?
I definitely say have a strong mind, don't give up
Hmm.
hope. There's going to be a lot of times where it seems like it's a desert road. There's nothing in view, there's no audition sometimes, and you just got to keep a strong mind and know when to take advantage of the situation. Like for example, right now I'm like in that little desert area. There's not a lot of auditions coming my way because I'm at that age range where I'm 16, but they'd rather hire an 18-year-old to play 16-year-old because it's cheaper and stuff like that. Um, but no, like keep a strong mind and find people who support you and know to take advantage of that situation and use that time to practice and really push out that skill that you never knew you had.
Hmm.
And that's probably what I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also depends on the like you may it's also if I don't know if you agree, like a lot of people are probably struggling like am I not tall enough? Am I not is my haircut not good enough?
Yeah,
And that's
just be happy with what you got. You can't play every role, 'cause sometimes you got to be
right.
really short. Just accept with what you have and
Hmm.
just focus on what you can control.
Right. And what was, for you, what has been so inspiring about auditions for you?
I think it's the fact that I get to do a different audition each time, play a different character, have a new challenge each time. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes it's a simple character, but sometimes that character it seems simple on the outside, but if you really break it down, he might be like a broken character or stuff like that. You know, I really like seeing the how would you say it? Diversity. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I forgot to ask you is, do you have any other upcoming projects that you have in mind?
Yes, right now I have one upcoming project. It's an animated series. It's the Mystery Box, and I play Mateo Ramos in that, and I play Mateo Ramos in that, and it's basically about these kids, this group of kids, they encounter a cold crime case, and they're like, okay, we're gonna try to solve this, because it seems interesting. They're just bored and stuff like that, and they start uncovering mysteries, but like in that, and it's mainly targeted to a younger audience, but it was pretty fun filming that. So yeah.
So to me, it seems like you're into cold cases and crimes
Yeah,
roles.
yeah, I love mystery movies like that, detective movies, anything like that. Yeah.
So you like to be a hopefully have a police role or something like that in the future.
Yeah. Hey, any opportunity, that'd be awesome. Definitely.
Right, right. What is your, I know maybe I've asked you before, what is your short term and your long term goal?
Um, Well, right now, I think my short-term goal right now, since I'm almost graduating high school, I think is definitely just to graduate high school since I'm almost done with that. The long-term goal is to definitely put all my resources and all my knowledge into my acting and hopefully, getting up there in the big leagues, and becoming really like successful as an actor, I
Hmm.
think that's a long-term goal.
And that's amazing. That's awesome. And then of course I didn't ask you this, but where can everybody find your podcast and when they start looking for it on Apple and Spotify?
So any projects I do recent or upcoming, I post on my Instagram mainly. It's my name, Julian Vidaurrazaga. Long last name, but you can find it spelled out right there. But yeah, no, you can find anything like that. I do skits, hobbies, what I'm up to, and anything upcoming.
Right. By the way, you do have a long last name. So no,
Yeah.
sorry, but anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you done all this. You done your Netflix, your dubbing. Congratulations about that. And then of course the Murder of the Heartland. And the Murder of the Heartland. Where was that filmed at?
Um, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure the exact location, but it was somewhere further LA, I think it was passing LA, but I do remember it was in a hilly type of area, like it was in the hills, and I remember we drove back like in the middle of the night, and it was so dark, there was like no lights at all, and it was pretty scary. We had to use our high beams, and yeah, but no, that's I'm not too ex entirely sure.
It was so dark. There was nothing
Yeah,
around,
it
no
was
lights.
really dark. Yeah,
It was creepy.
yeah,
That's kind of it's kind of cool, but kind of scary.
yeah.
So you're now SAG, and
Mhm.
congratulations about that, of course. And of course, I believe it was last year with all the writer strike and the SAG, and I know I asked most actors these questions, but what was going through, your head? Like, nobody was doing and nobody was doing nothing, right? And everybody was on pause. And
Mhm.
of course, everybody's like, "Uh-oh, what's gonna happen?" Right?
Yeah.
So in your mind, how were you handling it?
Um, to be honest, it sucked. I wasn't getting any work, any jobs, and that's what I love doing. I love acting and doing jobs, but it was a really beat down. But I think it had its pros and cons. I feel like the only pro to me was that like I could focus more on school and
Hmm.
stuff done. And I guess it kind of relieved that stress because before I would have to balance school and auditions, but when that happened, I could just focus on school mainly. But
Right,
yeah, it really sucked because no opportunities, no jobs.
right. And I know the follow-up questions. A lot of people are wondering how do you handle school and acting and auditions, going to school and auditions?
Um, to be honest, I really just I start by forming a connection with my teacher. I let him know that I do acting and that I'm doing it full time, and so they could be, like patient with me because sometimes I turn in assignments late because I'm not there. But no, they're all understanding and they all think it's pretty cool, so that's good. But I think that's the first step, let your teachers know so they're not like, oh my God, why is this guy always absent and always not turning in? Yeah, but I think that's part of it, and I think I just learned to really get the work done before I do anything else, before like playing games or anything like that. I get my schoolwork done to
Yeah.
get out of the way so I don't have that stress eating me up. But I think that's how I mainly balance my school and jobs.
School and jobs, that's true. A lot of people
Yeah.
have questions about that. Now you said you had one upcoming project, but this is still way too a long ways till December, of course. And what other upcoming projects do you have in mind?
Currently, except that one, none right now. I'm just focused on working on my craft right now while I have the time.
Hmm.
I've been taking acting classes. I've been searching up whatever on YouTube, analyzing movies, some of my favorite movies and actors, just anything I could really do to improve.
Right. And now I left it off before I cut you off, but what was your long-term goal?
My long-term goal is definitely to, finally fulfill my dream and, like put all the work I've been putting in and,
Hmm.
film that one big movie that I've been wanting. I'm not too sure what type. It could be really anything, I'm down. It could be like a comedy, a drama, anything like that, Netflix, I think
Hmm.
that's something big to make it to one of those big streaming platforms or even be in the theaters,
Right,
That's
right.
one of my long-term goals.
And what was your favorite role that you played so far?
So far, um, it's a big of a challenge. It's a bit of a challenge because all the roles are unique to each other. But I think I'd have to say it's hard. It's hard, because they're all really cool. You get to meet a lot of different people, and they're all unique to each other. But so far, I think I'd probably have to say the Scouts Honor one. That was pretty cool. I felt like I formed a family with them.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
I think it's one of the longest I've ever filmed. Um, I remember I would come back after each day and I would just chat with them, get to like know more about them. And yeah, no, I just felt like a family. Felt like I had like older siblings, I'm the
Right.
oldest. It just felt like it felt pretty cool. Yeah.
And what's your greatest strength as an actor so far?
Greatest strength, I think it's commitment, right so far, I think that's one of the like
Hmm.
one of the major strengths that you have to make it in this industry. Because acting, sometimes you can make it big within the first year, or sometimes it takes decades or 5 to 10 years. You never know how long it is.
Yeah, that's very true. It could take a long time to get where you want to be, or it could take like that snap of the finger.
Yeah.
So, what other roles would you like to see yourself?
Um, to be honest, I'm open to anything. I would love to play like maybe like an action role or anything like dramatic, where it really tests my abilities. I think I want to do a little bit of everything. I
Hmm.
love all
Hmm.
types of movies. I love comedies, dramas, actions, anything like that.
Uh-huh. And you like action movies more, or you like crime?
Um, that's difficult because I really like them both. But yeah, I think just whatever is thrown at me, to be honest.
Yeah, whatever's thrown at you. Right, right. So,
Yeah.
if you had an opportunity to be any action movie right now,
Mhm.
and if it's out right now, what was your dream role then?
Any action movie? That's tough. I mean, actually, I mean, I probably wouldn't fit any description in this character, but what's it called? Like either like in a Marvel movie that's like upcoming or anything. I've always wanted to play like Spider-Man or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Um, that also they actually mentioned the last Ronin, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like a rated R one coming out
Hmm.
soon. So like, if I could do that, that would be awesome. It would be a blessing. I know my dad would love it. He loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so it would be an opportunity of a lifetime.
That's true. If what role, if any role, deeply affected you, perhaps changed you in a permanent manner?
Oh, man. Um, can you elaborate?
Have you ever have a well, good question. That's a good question to ask you, but is there a role that you ever played and that has deeply
Oh, sorry,
changed
hold
you?
up.
Oh,
Sorry, yeah, there.
As
I know
that
that.
that has any role that has deeply changed you, you're I'm trying to describe it, but it's like it changed you, how you view life, or it changed
Mhm.
the role that you played because it was based on a true story, or something like that. It's like, wow, this is happening in someone's real life. Like it's
Yeah.
changed me how I view things.
Um, I think like any projects that I've done so far, I don't think it's had like a major impact, like life changing like that.
Hmm.
But there's definitely like some movies that I've had life changing like views. Like for example, Good Will Hunting. I watched that recently, and I should have watched it a long time ago. But it's pretty good, you know. I like the message it has and everything, and I that really changed my perspective, and it really inspired me to do more in acting
Hmm.
and push further. But there's a bunch of good movies that I could go on
Right,
about.
right. And what is your favorite memory so far being on the set of Little Caregiver?
I think it's definitely that's a different one. There's a lot of good memories. I think the one that stands out the most would probably be like when we're in the arcade. Definitely, you know, that was fun. You know, we got to play around in the arcade even though like the laser things were off. It was just fun, you know, going like pew 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 pew, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, that was a fun time doing that with you know, my castmates and everything. It was awesome. I love that.
Man, it's a bummer the later thing was off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was it would have been awesome if you know kept the score and everything. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, but
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Who is the funny person on set? It can be on The Little Caregiver or any of the roles that you played recently. Was there anybody
Um,
funny? You can name, it can be all the cat, all the set that you've done, but is there anything funny that made everybody
um,
laugh?
yeah, I definitely have to say, like for example, Scout's Honor. I think one of the funniest guys on set would have to be uh Dylan and Casey. That they're the funniest guys there. They would always like bring up stuff from like out of nowhere. I remember I was shooting a scene for Scout's Honor and actually came out in the previous episode. And basically I had to do I think it's a Tootsie dance or Tootsie roll or something like that, or something like
Hmm.
that. And I couldn't say it correctly, like Tootsie. I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly right now.
I don't know how to
And,
say either.
yeah, and they started teasing me about it, like, no, it's Tootsie or Tootsie. I still don't even know.
Pussy
Anyways,
Row or something like that, right?
yeah, it got so crazy to the point where they just added in the line like, oh no, that's not how you say it. It's like this. And I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't know. It was fun.
It's hard to say because the Tussie,
Yeah,
it's
Tootsie. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
it's T something. I don't know if
Yeah,
I know some people can say it right. I can't say it right personally. So it's
me
for
neither.
me, it doesn't bother me at all. I just know when I grab it, I grab it. So
Mhm.
um, and I like I guess the flavor's good. It's not so hard, it's good. But anyways, so you like I said, you're the only child, is that correct?
No, I have I'm actually the oldest. I have a younger sister and a younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
yeah, yeah.
I forgot. I believe I asked you that before. I apologize. Now,
That was okay.
you're the oldest, the younger siblings. Um, Now, are they also into acting? And if so, you know,
Um, my little sister, she's into dancing, so I guess it's close to the entertainment or like
hmm
into that industry. But my brother, no, he hates acting. No, he prefers like doing something more physical like soccer or
yeah,
drawing like
right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
How does it feel that your siblings are looking up to you and say, "Wow, you're on these movies and
Um,
TV shows," and
it feels awesome, you know. It's something, you know, good to have, you know, that they look up to you and I influence like how they are. Like I try to do good in every moment or decision I have just so they could do better than me, you know. Like I
hmm
want them to grow
hmm
up and be better than I ever was and, you know, stay humble, be hardworking. And I try to teach them that sometimes it could be frustrating, but then again, they're kids, you know, you gotta be patient with them.
right.
But it's
And I think it's good that they're looking up to you because you're showing that when you're doing auditions, that
mhm,
it's showing patience that you may
yeah,
not get it, but you're just auditioning because you never know what happens, right? And
yeah,
I
trial and
believe
error.
I believe auditions is like a patient thing. Like
Mhm.
you have to. be patient because you may not get it. You just have to,
Definitely, yeah.
right? It'd be, it's just a patient thing. It's just, it's hard, but you have to just go on with your day.
Hmm.
So I totally agree with you. Just that's good they're looking up to you. Um, and like I said last time, it's been a while. So, last time you were like I said, became SAG, no longer doing other projects that you used to. And do you still see your old cast members?
Um, no, I don't, yeah, I haven't filmed with a lot of them in a while. Um, I actually recently for Scouts Honor, like I did some pickup lines the other month and actually got to meet up with Dylan and Casey again and Lisa, and it was so nostalgic. It was awesome, because I hadn't seen them for about like 2 years, I think, about 2 years since like
Uh-huh.
COVID and stuff. Yeah, no, it was awesome. I got to catch up with Dylan, but who plays Zach in the series, but he was already finished up by then, so he was already leaving, so we said our farewells and until next time.
Until next time.
Yep.
This is another question because during the pandemic,
Mhm.
it's the same during the strike, but during the pandemic, there was no, it was just a crazy time, right? The whole
Yeah.
world, actually, to be honest, and it's not just LA.
Mhm.
What was going through your mind? I remember, um, I remember exactly what I was doing, but everything was kind of like, okay, we're normal. I heard about the the disease and
Mhm.
everything, and everybody was like, oh, okay, yeah, everything's fine. And all of a suddenly you have states slowly shutting down from,
Yeah.
different states, right? And then everybody was like, wait, what's happening? Why these states are shutting down?
Yeah.
And then of course, finally the acting community, finally, um, I mean, you got LA and you got all those places, New York and Broadway, and everything was closed, and the
Mhm.
whole United States and the whole world. But my long story short is, what was going through your mind during that? Because I asked most actors these questions because they didn't know what was going to happen, right? Nobody was, nobody didn't know what was happening. Acting industry was closed. A lot of places was closed, even if they're not acting or not. And
Mhm.
so, what was going through your mind because there was no auditions? I know. Sorry, go ahead and answer the question. I'll continue. I'm
Oh, no, that's
sorry.
okay. Take your time. Yeah. Yeah, no, right in the moment, actually, it was around the beginning of the time of my career, like I was like a couple years in, and oh, sorry. Um, yeah, no, it was a difficult time, because it really changed the whole course of the industry. I mean, I guess they really adapted to it really quickly because they actually switched to self tapes instead of
Right,
like.
right.
Yeah. So I guess it wasn't as bad as the strike, like because of the strike you couldn't do anything. But
Right, right.
yeah, during the pandemic, they switched to self-tape so you could just easily self-tape from your room or whatever place you had, you could
Hmm.
just send it in. And I guess that's one way they kept it going. The only sucky part was, the virus, and I got sick a couple times, so you don't do your. Best when you're like sick.
Right. And I know a lot of people like you said, they were having a hard time even during Zoom
Mhm.
because they were doing roles, and you have to stand up, have your laptop or your phone recording, and it
Yeah.
was kind of hard doing the roles because you had to look at the paper and you're speaking, for example, and you
Mhm.
look to the right or left or straight of you and there's nobody there saying something else back to you. So you have to like
Yeah.
pause
Mhm.
and like,
Yeah.
okay, oh Ben, you do this, and like, oh, okay, now it's my turn. And so I think a lot of people were having, I shouldn't say a lot, but maybe most people were having a hard time because they were
Mhm.
just trying to figure out, okay, I'm doing all this audition, but it's hard because there's nobody was talking to me. It's just you. Were you having that as well? Were you having a hard time?
Yeah, definitely. At the beginning, I was like, because there was nobody in the room except like my mom, who was the other reader for auditions. But like when it was like callbacks and stuff like that, and I like had to like do the actual scene with I don't know, like it would be the casting director or the actual director. It was a little awkward, but I think over time I got used to it because the industry kind of shifted more towards self tapes. So it's kind of like I had to adapt to it like more efficiently. So. Eventually, now I'm fine with doing it. It's a little bit awkward, but you know, yeah.
And now, thanks to that, where everybody's so used to not
Mhm.
traveling really, they're like, oh, I'm gonna audition to this role. Excuse me. And you have Zoom and you have all that stuff. So, and I think that's where everybody was like, oh, we can Zoom now. This is we can audition on Zoom now. We don't have to be there in person. Um,
Right.
so do you feel like for yourself that is it a positive thing for the entertainment industry that we are doing Zoom on the computer, or do you think that it needs to be in person?
I think it's pretty good, like everything has its own pros and cons, but I think it has mainly pros because, it really it targets those people out there that like are far away from LA. They could do auditions,
Hmm.
they don't have to drive all the way to LA every time they get an audition. And yeah, it really saves them, time, money, fuel, and everything. But I think it's a good change, overall. But there is still like in-person auditions every now and then, and I'll have to drive to or we'll drive to LA and stuff like that. But overall, it's pretty good, I think.
I keep forgetting you have to drive to LA. I thought you were in. How long drive is it for you?
It takes usually about an hour, but depending on traffic, it takes about like could be up to like 2 to 3 hours, depending how far it
That's,
is
I
into.
mean, an hour is not bad, but when you say two or
Yeah,
three, it's like when you're in traffic, you're like, it's just right there, right? And but you're
it's
like,
horrible.
it's
Yeah,
slowly moving, right? And then when you
yeah,
get
it's
there, you get like, okay, we're
exactly.
here.
Yeah,
And then when you go home, you're like, wait, it's just right there. The exit's right there. We see it, but
yeah,
you're slowly like moving forward, and you're like, wait, did we move? Oh, we
yeah.
only moved 1 inch. Oh, 1 inch? We're moving 1 inch again. You're like, oh, no wonder this takes 2 or 3 hours. So. I'm congratulations again on Netflix dubbing and of course Murder like I said Murder of the Heartland and then of
Nice.
course The Little Caregiver. I saw your Netflix dubbing. It was really good. And it's still out. Everybody should watch it. And and you of course The Murder of the Heartland is out on you said oh what was it again?
ID channel?
ID channel, and Little Caregiver is not out, right? That's what you said.
No, not yet.
Do you know when it's coming out?
Um, Not entirely sure. No, no.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, yeah.
And then your upcoming project. So again, that's kind of like a cold case uh show. I mean, is that going to be a movie or a TV show?
For my upcoming project, you said?
Yes.
It's gonna be an animated series.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. It's going to be animated, and you're going to be. And you don't. I mean, you probably can't say much, which we understand. I understand. Is it going to be a voiceover as well?
Yeah, it's I mean I can say this because they have I think they already posted they posted the trailer already on their Instagram, Mystery Box Mysteries.
Hmm.
And they posted the different characters in there and a little mini trailer. But yeah, it's like basically like a cartoon, a little nice animated series. Is pretty cool. If I was younger, I would watch it definitely. Like if I was like 8. Yeah. But no, yeah, this is yeah, it's a voiceover.
Well, that's good. That's good. And it's like I said, it's been a while you've been on my show. I appreciate you for reaching out and
Yeah.
you're always welcome on my show. Like I said, I love having my guests coming back on my show and talk about their projects they've done in the past and their upcoming projects. And I knew about your Netflix dubbing and it was marvelous, great, wonderful, great story about the stories of your all the stuff that you did on Netflix. I watched every single one of those, and every one of those have great stories, and it was wonderful. So, um, how does and I know it's not you personally on Netflix, but how does it feel that you the dubbing on Netflix?
Feels like a step in the right direction, feels
Hmm.
awesome. Yeah.
And this is your first time, correct?
Yes, doing those dubbings, yes.
Hmm. I guarantee that you personally, anybody could be saying it. I guarantee it gave you your hair sticking out. I mean, this is your first dubbing. You probably felt nervous. You don't have to admit this, but you probably did felt
Um,
nervous and
yeah,
excited,
no,
right?
it was all new to
Um,
me. Yeah.
and how many times did you have to retake? Did you?
For that, it wasn't a lot of retakes, it was just like have you ever done karaoke?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that, they play the line for you and they have a certain color. Like for example, I think mine was like blue or green. And they would play the scene and as it's going, they're like speaking Spanish or French, and you basically just hit the lines in English, like if you're singing a karaoke song, basically.
Uh-huh.
And then and then they review it, and if they want to move anything closer or change the way you say it, they'll do that. But honestly, it wasn't a lot of changes. It was just like very straightforward, you do karaoke and you do that. And yeah.
Yeah, and you had to change your voice tones, right? Because
Yeah, definitely. For each character, depending on how the character's description is, it's a lot. It's way different than like for example, like the podcast, like the audio drama for Scout's Honor. It's way different than that because for that you actually got to form the actual character of Blaine and stuff like that.
hmm
It's one that kind of give it to you and you already have a template to go off. And yeah, and speaking about the audio drama, actually, I forgot I had this here. Uh, yeah. Oh shoot, this is big. This is I actually kept this as a memory. This is the whole script.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it's that
that's
fat.
thick.
Yeah, it's pretty thick. That's 8 episodes right there. So yeah, no, I kept it as a memory. It's definitely something awesome that I have. Just gonna put that back here. Yeah.
It's amazing. Again, that's a lot of pages. Did you have to read all that?
Yeah, no, we actually like took out certain pages and we highlighted them and we would do those scenes on a certain day. But no, every time we're wrapped, I would read the next upcoming scenes as we were driving home. And yeah, no, it was awesome. I loved reading it and seeing what would happen next. But you guys could check that out on any like major streaming platforms. It was #1 on Spotify and #3 on Apple Podcasts. And yeah, no, it's an amazing audio drama. You guys should definitely go check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And do you say those words? Do you repeat those words without knowing? Like you just talk to people and like just say a line and they're like, what are you talking about? And you're like, oh
Yeah,
wait, sorry.
yeah. Like when I'm like talking with my mom, I'll say the occasional like, just call me the captain of camp, or something like that.
And everybody's like, wait, what?
Like, what are you talking about?
And you're like, oh, of course. Right. You'll be
Oh, I'm
like,
sorry,
oh,
I'm not playing. Yeah,
right. That's really cool. This is your first time doing Netflix dubbing, and again, congratulations. Hope you do more. And it's really awesome that you're, speaking for these actors to people can understand what's going on
yeah.
and I'm so proud of you. So I
Thank
can't
you,
wait. And of course I can't wait for upcoming projects. So I definitely want to have you back when that's out, your anime.
thank you.
So definitely 100%. And also, for you as an actor, um,
Mhm.
what can you give to any upcoming inspiring young actors who are watching this, who
Mhm.
are watching this and they're sitting there and they're like, I want to be like you, or I want to get to where you are. What is your advice for any inspiring actors, young actors who are who are looking up to you, and what's your message to them to encourage them to continue their dream? And it doesn't matter where they're living in the United States or anywhere in the world. What is
Mhm.
your speech, your 2 cents to them?
Um, Definitely pick up patience as a strength, stay strong-minded, get support from a loved one, a parent, anybody, because you're gonna need it. It's a tough industry, you're gonna get a lot of no's. And definitely put 100% into this. If you're really certain, of doing acting, put 100% to it because you could put like 70, 80% and it'll get you somewhere. But if you really want to go far, you got to put 100% and all your strengths and resources into it. You know, if it's something you really love, then go for it, man. You know, you only live once, live your dream. You know?
Yes, 100%. We only live once, right? It's a passion, keep going and just keep pushing. We all got to push ourselves in this and it's fun being in the entertainment industry because you get to see all kinds of, you know, fun and challenging and emotional and happy moments and it's awesome. So,
Yes.
congratulations. Thank you again for coming on my show, Julian. I would love to have you back on my show and
Thank you.
let's definitely stay in touch.
Yes. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
very welcome. I can't wait to have you back.
Yeah, me too. Can't
All
wait.
right, I
Thank you.
thought you're very welcome. You're always welcome to come back. You are always welcome to come back on my show. I really appreciate it because I enjoy having you back on my show because you were before I had you the first time. I think this is your third time. I could be wrong, but the maybe
Yeah.
two times.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like I
That's
said,
right.
the first time you came on the show, you weren't SAG, but you were so excited about being SAG. And then congratulations about being SAG. And you're doing all these projects, or you're on Netflix, you're dubbing, you have your podcast, and you do all these films, and it's amazing, and I love to see people who been on my show grow in the entertainment industry, and it's wonderful. And SAG or not, we're all growing in this industry. We're all a family. We all support each other in this entertainment industry. So you always have my support, and I would love to have you back and hear more about your journeys and your stories and your films and your projects. So please keep me
Yeah, of
updated.
course.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you again.
Mhm. Anytime. Thank
You
you.
have a good day.